Ladies and gentlemen, there's some kind of either poetic justice or karma in all of this. Governor Andrew Cuomo says President Trump is not welcome in New York. This is September 3rd, 2020. And this is Yahoo. Oh, actually, it's a Fox News article. Governor Andrew Cuomo says President Trump is not welcome in New York. And let's see, about, 4 or 5 months later, more than that, you have top state leaders say Cuomo must resign. Governor says no way. New York Times, CNN, New York State Senate Majority Leader calls on Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign. And USO, these are top Democrats, so it's not just Democrat Ron Kim, very courageous individual, went up against the worst governor. So Trump was actually, before we get to how horrible Cuomo is and was during this crisis, he did one of the most despicable things pertaining to elderly facilities. His decision-making directly led to lives. Directly, like his decision-making, you're governed first by your mayor, then your governor, and like the president of the United States generally doesn't have a direct impact on your life unless it's Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, or it's President Obama sending Americans off to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Yes, the president obviously can have a direct impact upon your life, but most of the laws that you're going to abide by on a daily basis, you have different, like during this pandemic, you have states that had draconian, heavy-handed measures that led to the worst economic outcomes and also the worst outcomes in general. New York and New Jersey, God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. There's a state and a federal government. People were saying, oh, every life lost is directly Trump's fault. It's like, no, Andrew Cuomo made decisions that directly impacted the lives, especially of the elderly in New York. Same with Michigan's Whitmer. But you have Democrats now, not just the allegations against him. So apparently he's not the good liberal Democrat when it comes to his relationship or his relations with other people or how he treats people. But you have, we'll get to all of that in a second. So his decisions directly led to lives being lost. But here, Trump spotted outside Trump Tower in first New York trip since leaving office. He visits New York when Andrew Cuomo is on his way out. And only, in September, October, November, December, January, February. Just in September of last year, Cuomo said, you're not welcome in New York. And he was trying to take this victory lap on how to deal with the crisis this year. And it's like he presided over the highest per capita rates. New York is the epicenter in the entire country. Does anyone ask AOC or de Blasio or Schumer or Gillibrand or Cuomo? Did anyone ask them, how do Democrats in New York get away with presiding over the epicenter of all of this? Same with New Jersey. And like I said, God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. How do they get away with this? Hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're on our way to 200,000 subscribers. Please tell your friends about this channel. I am a 100% independent voice. And to my Patreons, thank you. You allow me and you help me remain independent. And I just want to thank you to my new Patreons. If you want to support my voice, ladies and gentlemen, it's difficult to navigate the waters now in this very interesting political climate. But if you do want to support my voice, my Patreon is below. It's in below in the description and also the pinned comment, and it's at hagoodman.com. You could read my writing on The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, the Roanoke Times, the Daily Caller, other publications. You can see my debates. So, but the best thing you could do really is just share this segment, tell your friends and family about this channel. I'll just read you this. We'll get back to Cuomo, but here, Trump spotted outside Trump Tower in first New York trip since leaving office. Former President Donald Trump was spotted outside Trump Tower Sunday night in his first visit back to the Big Apple since leaving office. Trump pulled up to the Midtown skyscraper where he stays while in Manhattan just before 9 p.m. He was seated in a back seat. Okay, so upon his arrival, he waved to a lone Trump supporter who was across the street next to the media. So there are a great many people in New York who love President Trump. A lot of people obviously don't. New York and Los Angeles are two of the most liberal cities in the country. A little bit different. A lot more conservative. You wouldn't think. I can't really speak about New York, although I know that New York State there are a great many conservatives, and there are a great many conservatives also in New Jersey. But LA is a lot more conservative than you would think. There are a great many Trump supporters in Los Angeles. There are a great many Trump supporters in California. There's a recall now of Governor Newsom, and that's approaching 2 million signatures. You have Whitmer facing hush money allegations and a confidentiality agreement issue debacle with one of her top officials now. So they've all been messing with the numbers pertaining to what's gone on in the past year. They've all been implicated, and their decision making has directly led to a loss of life. They tried to say, well, Trump should have known, and Trump, it's like, well, the governors did exactly what they wanted to do. Trump could not tell the governors whether to either open up their states or shut down their states. The states that shut down and had the most heavy-handed draconian policies had the worst economic outcomes and the worst outcomes in terms of the crisis. So go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics on my channel in the description section. The top 12 places, 11 states and D.C. in the country, the highest unemployment rates, the top 12 highest unemployment rates are all Democratic-run states, including D.C. Okay, that's not a coincidence. The highest unemployment rates are Democratic-run states. In terms of per capita rates, the top 4 highest per capita rates during this pandemic, go to the New York Times statistics. The other day I took a screenshot. They're all Democratic-run states. 7 of the top 11 in terms of aggregate lives lost, Democratic-run states. So I don't understand, it's interesting. When a conservative loses his or her life because of the crisis, you have this gleeful response from Democrats. You see, you downplayed it. You didn't do exactly as we said. Well, you presided over the absolute worst outcomes. How do you justify gleefully insulting or mocking or denigrating or disparaging anyone? Especially Trump. When Trump got it, they said, oh, he downplayed it. Maybe this will make him take it seriously. It's like, yeah, now we have Andrew Cuomo, and we see the sins and the horrendous decision making, and really the nefarious, egotistical narcissist that he is. I mean, this individual is really something else. It's like you have somebody who presided over the absolute worst outcomes, the absolute worst economy. It's not just Cuomo. AOC is also a part of it. Schumer, Gillibrand, de Blasio. How do they get away with it? Trump gets all the blame, and these and Cuomo had a book come out on leadership lessons. How on earth do they justify this? I mean, I've been talking about this for the past 7-8 months now, saying, wait a second, New York is the epicenter here. Why aren't people blaming Democrats that run this state? It's run virtually by Democrats. Same with California. Michigan in many respects as well. Illinois, definitely Illinois. And so it's like all of these states with the worst outcomes and the worst economies, how do you blame everything on Trump? He should have known. Well, Andrew Cuomo on March 1st stated the risk remains low for the people of New York. There's no need for undue anxiety. All the top experts were blindsided. All the Democrats were blindsided, but it was Trump. While he was trying to fend off impeachment. So they went from impeachment to blaming Trump for the pandemic, and they were the ones who presided over the worst outcomes. I'm not making it up. Go to the New York Times statistics. Go to the Bureau of Labor statistics. In terms of aggregate numbers, Democrats have had the worst. Now, DeSantis in Florida did a much better job. Much better job. He didn't get any media love or admiration. Cuomo gets a book. He's like, they tried to paint him as America's governor, which was nauseating. And now President Trump's in New York while Cuomo is on the ropes. And his brother is losing steam at CNN. And there were reports that his brother was just not even adhering to protocol in New York City. So it's like what they had was a power trip. They said, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to flex our muscles, to show that government's in charge, and just look at the red states had the best outcomes in terms of aggregate numbers. Look at the unemployment rates and the number of lives lost and the per capita rates. Generally, the highest unemployment rates and the worst outcomes were in Democratic-run states. I'm not making it up. Go to the New York Times. The New York Times statistics, it's right there. 7 of the top 11 states, Democrat states, Democratic parties, blue states. 7 of the top 11 with the greatest number of lives lost. And they tried to blame Trump, but Trump didn't actually put elderly people in elderly facilities that directly led to loss of life. I mean, you have Cuomo and Whitmer, especially Cuomo, who put the most vulnerable people at risk. This crisis affected the elderly more than any other age group, more than any other group of Americans. And it still does. And you had this governor in New York who wrote a book on leadership lessons, and then when he's caught red-handed, he says, well, Trump's Justice Department was going after us, so we gave them the numbers and we couldn't give anyone else the numbers. Like, what? This it's not like you pack like numbers into a suitcase and ship it out FedEx. What do you mean you didn't have the numbers? He kept saying there was a void. We didn't have there was a void, a lack of information, and people then decided to put some disinformation in the void. I saw a little bit of his nutty press conference like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. He was caught. They said, hey, wait a second. The numbers don't make sense, or actually they're worse than we could have ever imagined. It's all your fault because and then you gave immunity to these companies that run these facilities. Immunity for what? Why would you give these? Why? What kind of agreement do you have where you're giving immunity? Immunity deals. I mean, you have so many shady things. Immunity deals with Cuomo, and then Whitmer gives like what's alleged to be hush money, $155,000, I think, to one of the top experts, just to ensure that this individual wouldn't say anything after he left. It's like, what? What are you talking about? This is absolutely like It's unbelievable what Democrats and media will do to cover everything up. And you see, there was reporting on it. But now they've apparently had enough. And just what a coincidence. Trump's no longer there. What a coincidence now. Okay. Give me your thoughts below. It's really unbelievable. And, President Trump is in New York right now. We don't know why. Probably for a meeting or who knows what. But he's in New York right now. He visited New York when Cuomo said, "You're not welcome." And "you're not welcome." That's he has a hilarious way of speaking. Consume the entire... Well, I didn't even want to get into it. Typical Democrat. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Trump is in New York, and Cuomo's on his way out of New York. He doesn't want to resign, but top Democrats want him to resign. So the heat is there. Let's put it this way. This is only going to get worse for the governor politically. The Democrats are now after him. When the Democratic Party wants you out and you're a Democrat, not good. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. Give me your thoughts below. And Trump is there. It's like everyone who goes after Trump, it just doesn't work out for that individual. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. I'll be back numerous times today. Be here for the live stream in the